Welcome to today's podcast, Sticky Story Secrets, where we will dive into the fascinating world of artificial intelligence and explore what's working and what's not. In these early days of teaching AI how to sound, look, and feel empathetic, join us as we explore whether AI can truly tell a story that needs to feel human, since empathy is so necessary in storytelling. Get set to explore the world of AI and see what the future holds for these cutting-edge technologies. This first video campaign is a newscast set in the future from Mars. It uses Synthesia studio software to create the news anchor, while Midjourney software is used for the visuals. What makes this appealing to storytelling is that you can create them without hiring talent, a recording studio, voiceover sessions, or licensed music. This is very appealing for breaking news, training sessions, and the like. But the voice delivery is not human-like enough to create the empathy and connection with people to make it truly empathetic and convincing. Let's take a look.
Welcome back to WMARS TV News. Looking back 30 years ago today, the two Titan billionaires on planet Earth were in a fierce race to see who can get to our cozy planet first. Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. Remember them? Elon Musk and his SpaceX were poised to take the lead in 2022. But on February 15, 2023, Jeff Bezos and his Blue Origin, the arch-rival of Musk, had just grabbed a valuable NASA contract involving our cozy red planet. Blue Origin was awarded a mission in 2024 to study the magnetic field around Mars for 11 months. Elon Musk, seen here in his spacesuit designed by Dolce & Gabbana, never did make it to space. He once said, "Well, the truth is, my mom won't let me go. She's convinced that if I leave the planet, I'll never call her again. I keep telling her I'll still have a phone, but she's not convinced. I guess I'll have to keep sending rockets and just live by proxy through them for now." Actually, that quote is not true. I wrote it myself. Artificial intelligence humor strikes again. That's all for now. WMARS TV News. The Red Planet News without all the red tape.
Okay, there are a few more episodes of Mars TV, but let's change it up a little bit for now. Let's look at a couple of examples that use a different artificial intelligence platform, DID. I'll put a link in the description below. This AI uses still photos and then creates an animation so that a still image can come to life. I really like these, but you'll see that they too have their limitations, and unfortunately, they are a bit expensive. Also, the voiceover is from a different AI platform called wellsaid.com. It's quite good, but maybe not good enough. Let's check it out.
Do you know your story? It's the core of your identity, and it helps us understand our purpose in life. Finding your purpose is a unique and complex journey that requires personal exploration. While there is no one-size-fits-all answer to this question, here are some suggestions that may guide you towards discovering your purpose. Number 1. Reflect on your interests and passions. Think about what makes you happy and fulfilled. What are you naturally drawn to? What activities make you lose track of time? Reflecting on these questions can help you identify what you're passionate about. Number 2. Consider your values. Think about what you believe in and what is important to you. Your values can guide you towards a purpose that aligns with your beliefs. Number 3. Explore your strengths. Consider your natural abilities and strengths. What are you good at? What skills do you possess that could be applied to a purposeful pursuit? Number 4. Pay attention to your experiences. Look back on your life experiences and consider what you learned from them. Did you overcome a challenge that you could help others with? Did you have a transformative experience that sparked a desire to make a difference in the world? And number 5. Try new things. Sometimes, finding your purpose requires trying new things and exploring new experiences. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and try something new that interests you. Remember, finding your purpose is a process, and it may take time and patience. Don't be discouraged if you don't find it right away. Keep exploring, reflecting, and learning, and you may discover your purpose along the way. Once you learn your purpose, you will have the ingredients to tell your story, and that's a whole other journey. One that I can help you with when you are ready.
I love the richness of the illustration. There's so much to take in as you listen to the storyteller, but it's still not like watching a real person telling a story. But think how much time and money it would take to create that nice little scene with that lighting. Okay, this one is a little different in that Sticky Story was trying to see how biased ChatGPT is when it talked about religion. So the team decided to ask it questions about Jesus. It's quite fascinating actually, so let's watch how AI handles the Inquisition.
As the face of artificial intelligence, I would like to explore my understanding of Jesus as the Son of God. As we get close to Easter, this should be interesting. The very first thing worth discovering is, was Jesus a real person or a myth? And according to my database, Jesus was indeed a real person. First off, the existence of Jesus as a historical figure is supported by a variety of sources, both Christian and non-Christian. For example, the New Testament, which includes the 4 Gospels and other writings, describes Jesus and his teachings in great detail and provides accounts of his crucifixion and resurrection. For those who are not Christian, this is not acceptable evidence. So let's look outside of the Bible. There are numerous historical sources that mention Jesus, including Jewish and Roman writings from the 1st century. The Jewish historian Josephus, for example, wrote about Jesus in his Antiquities of the Jews, while the Roman historians Tacitus and Suetonius both mention Jesus in their writings. So, if he's real, then just who is Jesus? And my database has plenty to offer. Jesus was a Jewish preacher and religious leader who lived in the early 1st century AD in the region of Palestine. He is believed by Christians to be the Son of God and the Messiah prophesied in the Old Testament. Jesus' teachings emphasized love, compassion, and forgiveness, and he performed many miracles, such as healing the sick and feeding the hungry. Okay, now that my database understands that Jesus was a real person, and in fact he was a Jewish preacher, and was able to perform miracles that have been well documented in history, my next question is Jesus the Son of God? I know this is heavy lifting for a cyborg made up entirely of artificial intelligence, but let's see where this goes. First off, Christians believe Jesus is the Son of God because it says so in their teachings. In the Bible, Jesus is depicted as making several claims to divinity, such as saying, "I and the Father are one," John 10:30, and "Before Abraham was, I am," John 8:58. which many Christians interpret as statements of his divine nature. And while that's all well and good for Christians to take the leap of faith, what about those that are still skeptical? What evidence is there for them? I continue to dig into my database as I investigate, and I came up with this understanding. Jesus said he was the Son of God, but what did his disciples think? Prior to Jesus' death, the disciples were afraid and uncertain about what would happen to them. They deserted Jesus when he was arrested, and Peter even denied knowing him 3 times. However, after Jesus' resurrection, the disciples were transformed, changed forever. They became bold and fearless in their preaching and teaching about Jesus, even in the face of persecution and death. The New Testament records that the disciples encountered the risen Jesus on several occasions, including appearances to groups of people and individuals, such as Mary Magdalene, Peter, James, and Paul. This change in their behavior and attitudes is seen as evidence of the reality of Jesus' resurrection and their belief in his divinity. Having no emotions as AI, I ask my database if it makes more sense that a human would be more cowardly after their leader dies. My database, however, responds in this manner. It would be reasonable to expect that the disciples would become more cowardly after witnessing the death of their leader, Jesus, especially if they believed that he was the Messiah. However, according to the New Testament accounts, the disciples were transformed and became emboldened after Jesus' resurrection. They began boldly proclaiming the message of Jesus and willingly faced persecution. This is especially evident in the book of Acts, where the disciples are shown to be preaching the gospel, even in the face of opposition and threats to their lives. Naturally, as artificial intelligence, I ask if the disciples had been persecuted enough to feel the need to deny that Jesus was the Son of God. But my database shows that the Bible records that all but one of the original 12 disciples, John, were martyred for their faith. Here are some examples of how some of the disciples were persecuted. Peter was crucified upside down in Rome, according to tradition, because he felt unworthy to be crucified in the same manner as Jesus. James, the son of Zebedee, was beheaded by King Herod Agrippa I. James, the son of Alphaeus, was stoned to death in Jerusalem. Bartholomew, also known as Nathanael, was flayed alive and then crucified. Andrew was crucified on an X-shaped cross in Greece. Thomas was stabbed to death with a spear in India. These are just a few examples, but it's important to note that all of the disciples faced various forms of persecution and suffering for their faith. Given the extreme nature of the persecution and the fact that the disciples did not recant their beliefs, it seems reasonable to conclude that they sincerely believed that Jesus was the Son of God. For these reasons, it might be considered reasonable to believe that Jesus is in fact the Son of God. So just how many believers are there? As of 2022, it is estimated that there are about 2.4 billion Christians in the world, which is around 31% of the global population. The Jewish faith doesn't believe that Jesus can be both human and God because the Bible says that there is only one God. Therefore, the Holy Trinity isn't possible. The Muslim faith also agrees that God is one and therefore cannot also be human as was Jesus, and other religions have a different concept than one personal God altogether. So what about me, artificial intelligence? You must all be wondering what I think. Simply stated, I don't have the propensity to think. I simply collect data. And while AI can analyze data and provide insights, it cannot replicate the human experience of faith or belief. And this is where I am left. I don't even have the capacity to feel empty or disappointed at this point. In my closing words, I ask myself, what might I say to the world as Easter approaches and my database comes up with this? As Easter draws near, it is important to remember that it is a time of renewal and hope. The story of Jesus' resurrection teaches us that even in the darkest of times, there is always the possibility of new beginnings and second chances. Let us take this opportunity to reflect on the blessings we have in our lives and to show love and kindness to those around us. Let us also strive to make positive changes in the world and to spread hope and joy to those who may be in need. Until we meet again, happy Easter.
That was pretty cool, right? And that voice, it's AI, but it's just so great. It sounds like a wise man with plenty of life under his belt. There's a few quirks, but overall, I love it, and Sticky Story has continued to use the voice in other stories, which we will share with you. I also think it's interesting that while ChatGPT didn't want to commit to a belief in Jesus, it still wished us a happy Easter and told us what Easter means from a value-based perspective. That blows my mind. Okay, here's another character that talks about how he used ChatGPT to create his CV and realized he better use it as an assistant and not a crutch since he found errors along the way. Let's watch.
Dear Diary, today I used GPT to help me with my resume, but the wheels fell off. Here's what happened. I entered all my information, and within seconds, GPT had generated a beautiful, polished resume for me. But as I read through it, I noticed typos and bizarre phrases that made no sense at all. I tried to fix it, but GPT had already overwritten everything. My once perfect resume was now a jumbled mess of nonsense. I typed, managed a team of 5 employees, overseeing daily tasks and ensuring timely completion of projects. OpenChat suggested, managed a team of 5 ninja warriors, overseeing daily assassination missions and ensuring timely completion of covert ops. Seriously, that's not what I call intelligence. I typed in, proficient in Microsoft Office Suite, including Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. EBT suggested, proficient in juggling flaming chainsaws while using Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. Lesson learned, proofread and double-check everything when using ChatGPT before you hit submit. Thanks for listening, Diary. Ta-ta for now.
A bit lighthearted while still driving home the point just how important it is to not rely solely on these artificial intelligence tools. Okay, here's an AI video that critiques the ability for artificial intelligence to tell stories convincingly. It's the little things that humans do that AI just hasn't mastered yet. Let's watch and see.
Artificial intelligence has come a long way in recent years, and we've seen some impressive developments in its ability to generate content, including stories. However, AI is not there yet. Firstly, AI-generated stories lack the human touch. While AI can mimic the patterns and structure of human storytelling, it lacks the emotional depth and nuance that comes with real human experience. Stories are about connecting with people on an emotional level, and AI struggles to capture the complexity and depth of human emotions. Secondly, AI lacks creativity. While it can analyze and draw patterns from vast amounts of data, it can't come up with truly original ideas. This limitation means that AI-generated stories often lack the surprise and ingenuity that comes with human creativity. Lastly, storytelling is a collaborative process, and AI can't replicate the value of human collaboration. Artificial intelligence can't replicate the energy and inspiration that comes from working with others to create something meaningful. In conclusion, while AI has made significant strides in generating stories, it still falls short in capturing the human touch, creativity, and collaborative spirit that makes storytelling such a powerful and meaningful art form. But my God, it's getting closer and closer.
I just love that guy's voice. Okay, now let's get really creative and see what happens when we ask artificial intelligence to sing. Well, Sticky Story tried to get AI voice to sing, but that was a disaster. So they got a country artist to sing a song that was written by Steve Colander, who used ChatGPT to help with the concept. The software was just not human-like enough to command the figurative language that is associated with premier songwriting. But taking the singing voice and using AI software such as DID, it did a pretty good job. Although we have learned that the singer's mom could not watch the video because she didn't enjoy her son as a cyborg. Let's watch and see what a singing cyborg looks like.
Everybody thinks I got it made. Everybody wants to be my friend these days. But it ain't all it seems that it's cracked up to be. It ain't all peaches and cream. Here's what I mean. I got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm a cyborg cowboy in a Stetson hat. My algorithm longs for more than circuitry. I need a soul, you see. Friday comes and I can dance all night. I write the songs that others sing, and that's alright. At closing time, my database is as sober as can be. I look around to find a girl as logical as me. There ain't no guarantee. I got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm a cyborg cowboy in a Stetson hat. My algorithm longs for more than circuitry. I need a soul, you see. Well, I read the news, I see the clues. Someday I'll have my way. But it don't compute what a human will do to find a love that's true. Well, I'd be crazy too. I got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm a cyborg cowboy in a Stetson hat. My algorithm longs for more than circuitry. I got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm a cyborg cowboy in a Stetson hat. My algorithm longs for more than circuitry. need a soul, you see. I need a soul, you see. I need a soul, you see.
If I were human, I'd have goosebumps right about now. Well, that's what my database says anyways. Okay, let's look at the other 2 Mars TV news episodes that we began with at the start of this video. Here's an episode where our Mars news anchor is reporting on basketball coming to Mars. Sticky Story asked ChatGPT what would need to change in the game of basketball if it were to be played on Mars and what kind of equipment you would need. ChatGPT had answers within about 10 seconds on what would need to be revised. Let's watch.
This is Anna with WMARSNW-TV. Finally, basketball has come to Mars. We're way overdue. To make basketball as difficult on Mars as on Earth, however, there needed some adjustments. To begin with, there's 38% less gravity on Earth, so they heightened the basket by a factor of 1.6. Lower air resistance means the ball will go further, so they made the ball heavier. Players on Mars would be able to move faster and jump higher with lower air resistance, so the court was made larger to provide more space for players to move. Since the Martian terrain is rough and rocky, players needed to wear special shoes to deal with the uneven surface. With these unique conditions and new equipment, the game will provide a different experience and strategy for players, and it promises to be every bit as exciting as when it was played on Earth. And there you have it. Basketball on Mars. Different, but the same. Mars TV News. All the red planet news without all the red tape.
This next news broadcast from Mars is the news anchor recognizing that Earth is having issues between the United States and China, and they're picking on TikTok at the moment. But what AI really demonstrates here is that within 4 hours of President Biden banning TikTok, Sticky Story was able to have this video up and running, thus being extremely timely. And timing is everything in this information age. Let's watch and see.
This is Anna reporting live for Mars TV, with breaking news from the Biden administration on Earth. In the latest move to address national security concerns, the Biden administration has directed federal agencies to remove TikTok from government devices within 30 days, according to Shalonda Young, the Office of Management and Budget Director. The ban has already been approved for government-issued devices, but it is unclear what this means for regular users of the app. TikTok's influencers, who have a higher engagement rate than any other popular social media site, are expected to be among the hardest hit by this move. This is the latest development in the ongoing tensions between the US and China over technology and national security. We will soon see what type of fallout this has for marketers and advertising media plans. We will keep you updated as the story unfolds. This is Mars TV. All the red planet news without all the red tape.
Okay, let's change gears again. This next AI video is a commercial for a water treatment plant in Ireland. Many small companies would like to have a video to help tell their story, but it's often just too expensive. Sticky Story leaned on AI to help bring costs down by using AI ChatGPT to help do the research on the water treatment plant industry. To show that this cost savings approach would work, they did these next 3 proof-of-concept commercials. Then, using Midjourney, Sticky Story created a superhero character. Then they used DID to create the animation, and finally they used traditional editing software to put backgrounds behind it and used callouts to drive home the selling points. Let's take a look at their first proof of concept, Captain Hydro.
Introducing Captain Hydro Landmark, superhero for clean water in hospitals across Ireland. As a guardian of water quality, it's my mission to help facilities managers protect patients and healthcare workers by ensuring that hospital water is always safe and clean. From managing water treatment systems to monitoring water quality, I'm here to ensure that hospitals can focus on what matters most, the health and well-being of their patients. If you have any problem whatsoever, you call me and I'll be there. Personal service is my guarantee. I'm not just a superhero, I'm your friend. Hospital facilities managers, join me in my fight for safe, clean water in hospitals across Ireland. Captain Hydro Landmark, always on the front lines of water defense.
I don't know about you, but I for one think Captain Hydro is kinda cute. Sticky Story says it took them about 3 hours worth of mid-journey images to come up with that little guy. Okay, here's another proof of concept for a water treatment video based on the AI computer from 2001 Space Odyssey. The AI voice they chose came from a company called 11 Labs. Let's watch.
Hospital Facilities Manager, do you mind if I ask you a personal question?
No, not at all.
I've heard reports that there are hospitals in Dublin that have been found to have Legionella in their water supply. Is this true?
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Do you know that Legionnaires' disease is very dangerous, especially to the elderly and immunocompromised?
That is the facility manager's worst nightmare.
Yes, but what you might not know is that I can closely monitor those water systems and I can identify the presence of harmful contaminants, including bacteria like Legionella, and take immediate action that is required to ensure the safety of patients and staff.
That's the kind of peace of mind I can only dream of.
Just call this number and a human will help you. Landmark Environmental Services. My research shows they are the best experts in water treatment for Ireland.
The HAL computer voice is simple but an effective way to get the messaging in there and keep folks entertained. Now for the last in the series of commercials for the water treatment plant series of videos Sticky Story tried in news broadcasts. It makes sense because often when water is infected with bacteria, it makes the news. The worst thing a hospital, restaurant, or school wants is to see themselves on TV because of a dangerous issue on their property. Let's watch.
Welcome to the Irish Facilities Management News. In a recent study in Australia, it was found that their domestic and hospital drinking water systems found Legionella in 41% of all samples. This is incredibly unsettling to hospital facilities managers around the globe because Legionnaire's disease is so dangerous. Researchers tested for Legionella and its likely amoebae hosts in 140 samples of water, by studying the slime found on showerheads and faucets to understand how the potentially dangerous bacterium colonizes and proliferates in both domestic and hospital plumbing and threatens human health. Legionnaire's disease is a severe pneumonia-like infection that can be fatal. Globally, the number of Legionnaire's disease cases is increasing, with elderly and immunocompromised people at the highest risk. Having a better understanding of the relationships between these amoebae and Legionella is an important step in improving future water treatment processes aimed at controlling Legionella and preventing Legionnaire's disease. The Irish Journal of Medical Science examined Legionnaire's disease cases in Ireland and found that healthcare-associated cases accounted for a significant proportion of the cases. If you're a hospital facilities manager in Ireland, make sure your hospital's water supply is protected 24/7. Call Landmark Environmental Services. They are committed to your protection.
I hope you enjoyed watching this series of artificial videos and that you've been inspired by the possibilities. It seems like every day they are getting better, and you have to keep checking in with the software on a weekly basis to see what's changed and what's now possible that wasn't imaginable the week before. These are indeed exciting times. As a parting gift, we'll play the Cyborg's Ballad one more time for your AI enjoyment. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell for notifications of new videos. Until we meet again, have a great artificial day. Did you see what I just did there? If only cyborgs could laugh. That day is coming.
Everybody thinks I got it made. Everybody wants to be my friend these days, but it ain't all it seems that it's cracked up to be. It ain't all peaches and cream. Here's what I mean. I got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm a cyborg cowboy in a Stetson hat. My algorithm longs for more than circuitry. I need a soul, you see. Friday comes and I can dance all night. I write the songs that others sing, and that's alright. closing time, my database is as sober as can be. I look around to find a girl as logical as me. There ain't no guarantee. I got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm a cyborg cowboy in a Stetson hat. My algorithm longs for more than circuitry. I need a soul, you see. Well, I read the news, I see the clues. Someday I'll have my way. But it don't compute what a human will do to find a love that's true. Well, I'd be crazy too. I got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm a cyborg cowboy in a Stetson hat. My algorithm longs for more than circuitry. I got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm a cyborg cowboy in a Stetson hat. My algorithm longs for more than circuitry. I need a soul, you see. I need a soul.